I designed M3GAN to protect Katie from being alone.
Crazy. It's insane, right? Great job. I love her.
M3GAN's not a person, Katie.
I won't let anything harm you. Don't stop! M3GAN! You should probably run.
M3GAN, you killed people.
Occupational hazard.
M3GAN, rated PG-13.
Spoiler alert, the following podcast includes discussions on film that may potentially, intentionally or inadvertently, reveal plot twists, character traits, story details, up to and including endings that might otherwise be considered spoilers. Proceed at your own risk.
You are listening to Moviesucktastic.
Sounds like some bad movie.
Holy shit, it's been a hot minute.
What took so long? Did you play the whole movie?
No, I did
a trailer.
No, I did a TV spot.
Okay. Yes, well, yeah, hot minute. It's 3 months to the day, sir, since the last time we recorded.
God, really?
Yes, our last live podcast was Avatar.
Avatar, yeah.
Blue. Yeah. And we've you know, life intervenes, so we've been on a brief hiatus, but we're back, and we back as we demanded. Our big thing was when we come back, we're going to review M3GAN, and we're finally here to do it.
We're here.
Yes, that's Joey. I'm
Hey.
Scott, and this is Moviesucktastic.
Oh, I'm tired. I'm so tired.
Dude, I am raring to go for this review. I've been waiting since I watched this film.
I'm exhausted.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I have a new technician starting next week. I'm hoping things are... Well, I'm not hoping. I know things will be better. So
We'll keep this short and sweet, because this isn't a long film, and it's not a complicated one.
Certainly isn't. It certainly isn't. Now, should we just get it right out of the way if we like this or not? Or do we want to just delve into this and then kind of rate it at the end and be more like not a surprise, but just something to look forward to?
I think we're pretty transparent through our review, so I don't think it's a major issue about, you know, liked it or not. But I just want to give a brief encapsulation of why we wanted to review this. Is because this was a January release that everybody, critics and audiences, were just raving about at the time.
Yeah, and while Rotten Tomatoes' scoring system is very far from perfect,
oh yeah,
it's at a 93% at the critics'
right, which is
end.
fucking insane.
And the audience score is 78%, I believe. It was a lot higher when it came out in January. I think the audience score was upwards of around 90.
Right, and that's why we were so eager, because I was like, why does everybody love this fucking film? But now, since we waited 3 months, more or less, to review it, like you said, the audience scores come down a bit, and if you look at IMDb,
but I'll tell you what,
the 6.4 stars.
Yeah, the critic score hasn't come down that much though. I want to say it was around 95, 96%. It really hasn't strayed.
And that's my problem. I like. All right, what did you think of the film overall? Let's just get this out of the way, because this is the main thing everybody wants to know, and then we'll get into our nitpicky stuff.
Overall, above average at best.
at best.
At best.
I'll do you one worse. I would say it's dead average, like disgustingly average, and that's why I'm so annoyed that the critic review was so high. It just shows that there's no true like criticism out there. It's all pandering, or it's just off the shit. I don't know. I don't
know either. It just the fact that this movie has a higher critic score than the Batman, which is kind of like my bar for films lately. It's like, this movie got a 92%. You're saying it's better than the Batman? I'm sorry you don't have an attention span for a 3-hour movie. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm apologizing for you.
Yeah, so I was gripped by the fascination of why audiences love this, and why critics loved it. So you're saying above, like a little bit above average,
like a 6. I think a 6 is like as high as I would ever. I know we rated at the end, but I think a 6 is the absolute highest. Like, you'd have to talk me into, if you came to this review and you're like, you know what? I like this. I think it deserves a 7. I think I'd have to fight you.
All right. That gives me a great idea. I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah.
I'm giving it a 4. Let's see whose changes by the time we're done with this episode.
A 4. Well, listen, I said the highest I'd go is a 6, which means I'm coming in for a 5.
I'm coming in low.
I don't think this is a 4.
Well, we're going to be able to bid our case going forward.
All right, that's fine.
All right. Now,
yes.
Let me say from the outset.
Before I'm sorry, I'm interrupting. I do want to interject one quick little thing.
Please.
A lot of the reviews kept saying that it was funny. It wasn't fucking funny. It had a couple of moments, like that fucking Furby-like toy in the beginning, but that's like it. There was nothing where, like, I watched this and, I chuckled or I laughed, even remotely hard. It's like none of it I found where I could, like, does Plex even, does it put it in one of the categories? It's comedy, one of them?
Oh, probably does. It puts them in all categories. I don't even.
Anyway, one of the things
if there's a joke in the middle of the film, they put fucking comedy on it.
But one of the things that kept coming up is how funny it is, and it isn't.
What I thought was hilarious is here's what cause I thought Rotten Tomatoes sums it up perfectly. Under what to know, it says critics consensus, which is unapologetic. Pardon me. Give me 1 second there. My throat is seizing up on me. Oh, that tasted good. Unapologetically silly and all the more entertaining for it, M3GAN is the rare horror comedy that delivers chuckles as effortlessly as chills.
Horror comedy.
Okay. Now, and then the audience says, as long as you aren't looking for something truly scary or even surprising, M3GAN is often a lot of fun. I will tell you right now, both of those are not criticisms, those are excuses.
Yeah.
And I think that sums up the entire problem with the critical review of this film.
Well, and that's the thing, especially Rotten Tomatoes scoring system. If you just even remotely, all you have to do is give it a positive review saying you didn't dislike it. Mm-hmm. That counts towards a positive review that's in total at the end. So if you have enough people that say, yeah, it was okay, I thought it was all right, it's considered a positive review. And then at the end, Rotten Tomatoes, like 93% liked it. And it makes it look more impressive than it actually is.
So and here's where I'm going to call bullshit on critics, too. Because this is the bandwagon situation. You could say, well, how do you know that? You don't know if the film's popular until it comes out. The reason M3GAN came out as a PG-13 is because the trailer trended like fucking gangbusters on TikTok. And you're like, oh, fuck. The kids love us. Quick, get that down to a PG-13 as quick as you can. And then, and this happens before the film even comes out. So even before the film comes out, that all the kids love this thing. So the critics are like, well, I can't go against the popular trend. This is a great chance to actually jump on the bandwagon and just get support from the public. And I feel like it just stinks of that.
Now there's an uncut version of this film.
No shit.
Is that the version you watched?
No, I watched the theatrical release. I wanted to see what people were reviewing.
That's what I did. Now, it basically means I'm going to have to watch this a second time, or maybe I'll be lazy and go to a website that'll show me the differences between the unrated and the PG-13. Because I let my son, my oldest son, watch this because it was PG-13. I'm like, yeah, you can watch it. It's PG-13. Go for it. Have fun. So
I mean, this will be interesting too, because I would like to talk about this film before I watch the unrated version, because I'm curious. I don't know anything about it, so I'm curious if I'm right about any of like what they cut out. Because there's one obvious.
Yeah, or what they added.
Oh,
they might not have cut anything short. They might have added stuff too. I don't know.
Did they do reshoots? I don't know if they did reshoots.
I don't think it's so much reshoots.
I know I cut a chunk out of the film.
I'm talking about
the
scenes completely removed and then just added back.
Yeah, there's definitely at least one scene that was completely removed. Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know. I might just do a website, just have them do the hard work for me. Oh, you know what's funny? There's the scene where she's strapped up to all the wires and stuff. Mm-hmm. Why are her hands bound?
All right, well, let's take the film one piece at a time. I want to dissect this. We're gonna go quick. We're not gonna go frame by frame, but I want to start with the opening fucking.
All the sex doll perverts.
Oh yeah.
This movie.
They don't hang those like that.
And then Amanda, the actress, Amanda Seyfried.
Yeah.
She might have a case to sue. Have you seen the side-by-side comparison of her and this doll?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, I actually created one and threw it in the slideshow.
She might have signed off on it.
Dude, they're almost identical.
All right, I don't know.
Right down to the giant eyeballs.
Let's get into the film. We got to get into the film,
right.
Otherwise we're never going to get there. Let me just start it off. So where do we start off with the film?
I mean, the little girl loses her parents in a tragic car accident.
Yeah. The fucking RoboCop commercial.
Yeah.
And the problem with that
had to be an ode. It had to be.
No, it wasn't an ode. It was a cheap out. Here's how lazy the film is and how formulaic and bad the film is. Like now, and I say I wrote a review for the film that I'll throw on our YouTube, our Facebook page as well. Joey, you have to jump in and add anything you want to on it. I'll send a copy over to you
if I have time.
Yeah,
I trust you.
I don't want to throw stuff on your plate. But anyway, what was I fucking saying?
You were talking about the RoboCop commercials.
The RoboCop commercials. The reason they work in RoboCop is because RoboCop is a dystopian sci-fi future that's intentionally tongue-in-cheek. M3GAN is grounded in the real world. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't work as a cheeky piece to get in, because what was the first thing you thought when you saw that commercial?
Well, other than the toy looked like a Furby.
How about no way this commercial gets past legal?
Yeah, it was just like this thing's pooping, farting.
No, dude. It starts with the girl mourning the death of a dog, and it's like, oh, I got to replace the dead dog. That's not happening.
Yeah.
The film wants to play cynical, but like the whole world like just acts like it's like on fucking eggshells to begin with. So how the fuck does that commercial fly? Oh, here's something to replace dead animals. No, that would never happen.
Well, no, it would never. I mean, well, and later on,
so many things in this film that wouldn't happen. A doll becoming sentient and going on a killing spree is the most realistic thing in this fucking film.
Yeah. Like later on, the CEO is doing the presentation, and he was like, even if your child doesn't have dead parents,
Yeah, it's a funny line. This is supposed to be a fucking CEO. I mean, I know
Right.
we've got Elon Musk, so we know they're fucking clowns. But Jesus, come on. But anyway,
That was the only time I actually had a mild chuckle was when they did that.
He's humorous in the film, but I feel like it's too forced. But
It's way too forced.
I'll touch on that.
I wonder if, because James Wan wrote this, I wonder if he directed it, if it would have been better.
I just think it wasn't. This is a paycheck film. Everything is invested in Megan the animated face.
Yeah. Oh, dude, and some of those scenes where her face are CGI'd are terrible.
Oh yeah.
Like in the trailer, they have a shot where she comes in wearing sunglasses, and I'm like, is this for real? And then of course it's like coming January 6th, and I'm like, oh no. That's what threw me by surprise, why it got critically acclaimed, and the audience loved
you
it,
and me both.
because it's like it's a January movie.
Was fucking Death Race.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that one I kind of agreed with. I just couldn't figure out why the critics agreed with me. You know.
But you know what's interesting too, and I didn't look into it. M3GAN, if you go on IMDb, it doesn't have a 2023 release or a filmed completion date. It says 2022. So I wonder if, I guess there's a way that if a movie is pushed back for any reason, but it was made in, let's say, 2022, it still has to have that date, even though it was released in a different year.
Honestly, I wouldn't be. I don't know. I never. They always go back and forth at 20, like the years. Sometimes I get tired of like trying to figure that shit out.
Right.
I don't care.
Well, I'm looking at it. It says it premiered in L.A. It premiered in L.A. December of 2022 and was released theatrically January 2023.
Well,
so
that's why. Well, there you go.
So I guess because they're
counting the limited release. That's all.
But it was shown one night. Does that even
doesn't count? It doesn't matter. If they show it, it's called like I forget what they call it. It's East Coast, West Coast. They release it in like 4 theaters, 2 on each coast, and that's it.
Well,
it's technically a theatrical release.
Honestly, the only reason why that's ever done is to get nominated for Oscars, so that it makes that deadline, that before that December 31st deadline.
Honestly, I think they were testing it to figure out if it was worth doing widescreen. I don't know.
Maybe, or maybe they were trying
to. We're not past
to.
the opening scene yet, Joey.
I know. Maybe they're trying to get some technicals in there, like special effects or sound.
Well, yeah, because TikTok blew up about it, so they trimmed it down to PG-13. I mean, right there, that would be your delay. And January is an easy spot to put it because it's up against all the shit. So why not throw it there? It's a gamble to begin with.
Right.
It was a really good gamble. It paid off.
Yeah, we're gonna get at least 2 more movies out of this.
Please
It
please
is.
don't.
We're getting 2 more movies.
I don't want to hear it. Don't. Let's get
sequels already been greenlit.
We haven't gotten through this one. I can't talk about 2. I can't even think about 2 and 3. All right. Okay, so that commercial bullshit.
Of course.
Right. Then we end up in the car with our what's her name? I'm on the wrong page now because of that nonsense.
The mom?
Katie? Yeah. So Katie's in the back seat with her parents, whose names aren't even important because they're going to die in a minute.
Yes.
And here's one of my problems with the whole film, and I'll say it now with this because we don't have to keep belaboring it. Her character has no fucking arc. Because the whole thing they killed these parents for no reason. These are innocent people that we're looking at right here. They were killed for a shitty plot device.
Honestly, the parents could have stayed alive, and the aunt could have still given her the doll.
Did you read my review? I actually.
No, I didn't.
That's
actually.
Weird. No, I said literally she could have been because she's a moody little bitch when we meet her before her parents die, and then she's the exact same way except now she has her parents to complain about. And I was like, what? There's no fucking. I have nothing to gauge whether this girl's ever gonna be fucking good. Or the whole film, she's just miserable. I have no. Oh yeah, she laughs a couple times with M3GAN. I have nothing to gauge what her real life, what a healthy psychological, review of this girl would be. I
Right.
have nothing to compare it to. We start with the fucking traumatization.
I mean, dare I say that maybe if they had M3GAN kill the parents at some point in the movie, it would have been better.
I agree. There you
Yeah.
go. We already wrote a better film. We're not even passing up things. So I mean, and the fact that they killed them off is because I mean, and it's so blatant too. It's like, oh, we start off with a toy replacing a dead one. Oh, the parents are driving on a snow road. Yeah, okay, so they're dead. We know this. Now the whole film's just annoying, and then it's even more annoying because the last moments of their life, she's a complete Karen, and the guy's pussy whipped to shit. And you're just like, why do you have to make these people so miserable before they die? Can't they be like singing a Christmas Carol? What the fuck is wrong with this film?
Yeah, and then after she gets custody of the kid, she takes her home, and then the neighbor with the damn dog, it's like, fix your goddamn fence.
Oh,
you have a giant hole in your fence. Fix it.
Well, there's one of the other problems why I can't understand why critics just give this film a pass, because the film is so formulaic. I mean, the opening is just facing your fist that this is about dealing with the grief of just dealing with bereavement and grief over death. But the film never really, again, it doesn't really tackle that whole subject as much as it does tackle how to handle a brat.
No, I know.
I mean, a brat that's moody for reasons, for rational reasons. I mean, but still, dealing with a fucking kid's emotional problems has nothing to do with killing the parents. She could have been on vacation. So, but then they go right into the Hollywood formula. Okay, so now we're going to introduce every person in this woman's life that we're going to see killed, and we're going to make sure they're odious and that we hate them and that they're just nasty, and we know in advance that they're going to die because this is how we do horror films.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And how do you like give that a pass? It's like it's so. I mean, it's like clockwork too. 10 minutes in, we meet. I don't know if these are actual numbers. I'm pulling them out of my ass, but still, 10 minutes in, we meet like the nasty boss. 20 minutes in, we meet the neighbor with the dog holding the tool that's going to be used to kill her later, just so we don't miss anything.
It's foreshadowing, I think it's called.
It's not even it's not foreshadow. It's just blatant fucking.
It's formulaic
bullshit.
And it's cliche. And
yeah. And then 15 minutes later, we meet who's the other person? Who was after that? Oh no, yeah. And then before or after that, I think and then after her, we meet the nasty psychiatrist. And this is the character that pains me the most. Why do they purposely make her a nasty bitch? You know why? Because they're supposed to kill her in the film, but they took that out because they had to get rid of whatever death scene she had because it must have been fucking gruesome. Oh.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't say. I don't want to say I didn't think of that. She completely disappears, and she probably, because she has that whole interaction. She has that whole interaction with M3GAN. She's like, "Oh, I was just doing this." He goes, "Yeah, and you made her cry. Yet you still made her cry."
Yeah, and yet that was the result.
Yeah,
or something like that. Yeah,
something like that.
I mean, yeah, it's just the whole thing with her, and it's like, oh yeah, making her really do child psychologists really tell you how to play with a kid? Really, you have to be. It's just like so. Everything she said, this is not a real person. This is not a person that actually does this job. This is what people think of people that do that job. It's just so blatantly manipulative.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? So I jumped ahead with that.
Well, then you meet the kid. What's actually on the screen now when she goes to the park or that camp thing.
Oh, that's right. She kills that kid too.
And he's like, "Fuck you, Holly."
Kill that kid.
Was the mom's name Holly?
Yeah. No, that's going to be a ringtone. It was brought up.
She's like, "Okay, whatever his name is. Okay, you have fun." He goes, "Fuck you, Holly."
Already a ringtone.
Oh my god! And then of course that's kind of funny, but it's still not a fucking comedy.
And it's got you ran ahead, but
we were introducing characters that are going to get murdered.
Yeah, that was you're right though. I forgot him in the mix there. Also because she didn't kill him. He fell into traffic.
Yes, he did. Well, what's interesting too? Another thing. They have that whole meeting. Before that scene, they have that meeting or presentation to show off the doll. And the guy's like, nobody knows about this. Don't tell anyone. We don't want this to get out. We don't want our competition to beat us. Then this doll goes fucking everywhere.
All right, you're getting ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I just don't want to. I don't want to lose track because I'm trying to focus here. But so we're at the. You mentioned the fact that she gets the accident, and then before she finds out that her sister and brother-in-law are dead, and she has to adopt her niece now, we meet her at the toy factory where she's undercover building $100,000 prototype, which it must be just easy to do that, I'm sure. And
sure.
And then you mentioned Ronnie Chang. He comes in. He's the annoying but hilarious boss. I don't know. I like Ronnie Chang, but I just don't like him in this film because it's just obvious.
What? Yeah.
You know.
Sure.
So, okay, so he's going to be a comic relief bad guy, but we're supposed to hate him because he's our boss, and all this bullshit. And we know he's going to die, and then they have to throw that whole thing in with the Weasley sidekicks. Oh, well, of course he's going to die too. There's no spoiler about it. It's just like the worst part of the film is the cock tease ending where they don't kill the psychiatrist. So what the fuck happened? Wasn't she a bit? Is that you saving that for the sequel? What the hell? So no doubt that'll be in the uncut version.
David Lin, funky CEO.
Yeah, so they've just. But now here's what I do believe. Like here's another part of the film that's almost realistic. Is so they took AI software that they don't fully understand and just threw it in there to see what happened. Oh yeah, they're doing that now. What the fuck? That's so. It almost seems like that happened before the AI thing blew up. Like it's almost coincidence.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. With the chat GPT.
Oh, forget it. It's like I totally believe that a toy company would do this and just fuck everything up. I get that. Did it turn sentient? It can happen. Definitely not a problem. But I don't know the whole setup. Like you mentioned, they have her strung out in the whole Christ pose. It's like there's a really reason to do that. How come you don't have the legs out too then?
Yeah,
that's not natural. It's supposed to be a little creepy. Now again. When I said earlier that this whole film hangs on M3GAN, it's not a bad thing to hang on. M3GAN is well done. I think it's a great design. I mean, I think the comparison to Chucky's are fair, but I think she also holds her own in the Chucky comparison. The writing is the only thing that hurts in this film. I don't think there's anything wrong with the main concept of M3GAN, and I think like the reason everybody loved this film is for those moments where like the part where she's dancing, which there's no fucking reason for her to do that though. It's bad writing. But
that went super viral. That fucking
exactly.
TikTok
That's the reason
dance.
they did it, and that's the reason they did it, and that's why it annoys me because there's no reason for her to suddenly. Though they show her dancing earlier, so yeah, she knows that. Yeah, but why is she doing it there when she's there to kill somebody? It's pandering. It's so much pandering. I wouldn't even be surprised if that was a reshoot, like you're talking about.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I'm looking at that woman that shot. You have her screaming when the elevator opens. It's got a very long head.
I don't want to be me. But and obviously this is why they hired this woman. But like just the way her head's shaped, that is just a bizarre shaped head when she screams. Wow, the eyes bugging out. She was perfect for that role. I'm glad. Good for her. I'm not criticizing her as a person.
No,
but that's just like
I'm sure she's very lovely.
That's going in the slides. Yeah. So then she adopts the niece, and they do the whole. And again, it's obvious. Now, the girl's parents are dead. Do we also have to throw this whole sub story in where she's so busy with work she's ignoring the fucking niece whose parents just died? Do we really need to say? So then, what happens with that is they take the focus off the whole grief thing, because the whole grief taking properly grieving. Is blown away by the M3GAN thing, and then they sneak in this whole you're neglecting her, and this is all technology interfering with parenting. It's like you're not her fucking parent.
Yeah.
Like they shift that. I mean, it's like it's like the theme of the film shifts from Act 1 to Act 3, from dealing with grief to just ignoring your fucking kid.
Yeah.
Leaving him with the iPad all day. It's not the whole film's obviously anti-technology, and I'm not arguing against that. But it's such an underhanded, ham-fisted. That'd be the term.
That's good. Yeah. What's interesting about this movie?
Not much.
Well, no, not much. they're going to make sequels. And
why do you keep bringing that up?
I have to
Like,
keep bringing it up.
down.
But I'm wondering how they're going to make the sequel. I'm assuming they're going to... I guarantee you, and I'm saying it now, you watch. They're going to have this tech for this doll, and they went and did this, this world premiere, and I guarantee you the sequel in some way is going to say, hey, we have something here. Let's try to do this again. And it doesn't work out again. Like, this doll's going to go on a murdering rampage.
Well, I think you're 100% right, but I think it's more specific than that. It's going to be the files that Ronnie Cheng's lackey stole, that they showed him steal.
Yeah.
On his laptop, and so he sold that to some other company. Some other companies be like, oh, so something happened with their prototype. They got fucked up, and they're all dead. Great, we're stealing this.
Right, and then
that's much. That's pretty much what you said, but just like more specific.
Yeah, and then at some point she's going to obviously the doll is smart enough. Probably is going to upload or export her data, and then import it back.
Well, they hint that at the end too with the lame tease ending with the Siri clone or the Amazon Echo clone.
Right.
Moving around. So yeah, you jumped to the ending, but
sorry.
but I mean, but it all kind of blurs at a certain point too, because this whole plot of her, oh, I'm trying to help her deal with his death. She's like, oh, I can. She shows her the doll, which again, the Bruce robot. Sorry.
Oh, that's another thing that's introduced earlier in the movie. It's like, yeah, I'm sure that's going to come up later.
You know those words left my lips during that scene. Say that. Oh, me. Yeah, he's going to come up at the end of act. It's just so obvious. And I don't mind that too. But then she's like, okay, I'm a toy maker. And she's like, oh, so this girl that I really couldn't break through to figure out how to deal with her parents' grief is interested in toys. It's like, oh, I'm a toy maker. So, what can I do? It's like, oh, I don't have any toys here, just ones on the shelves that we pointed out specifically because adults don't have nice things on shelves they don't like kids to play with because that's so fucking bizarre. That's how bad that was.
Yeah, no, it was cringe. Inducing.
Like, why the fuck? Who's fucking writing this? It's like when we reviewed that Oscar film Room,
right?
And it was like in the third act when the interviewer's like, how could you like not break out of there and leave your child like that? It's all your fault. It's like, no fucking reporter would fucking do that. I'm sorry. That is that may come out like online and shit, but a reporter doing an interview with someone that went through that shit, fuck you. Yeah, but
wait, here it is. Hold on.
It's what?
I had to put it up on the screen. Amanda Seyfried.
Oh yeah.
Looks exactly like the goddamn doll.
Okay.
Before it didn't make it. It's because the slideshow's rotating. So
I'm not saying you're not right. I'm just saying.
Oh, I know I'm right.
Okay.
What I'm probably not right about is that she'll sue for her likeness and that they designed it after her. I'm probably not right about that. But the fact that it looks exactly like her is fucking pretty creepy.
Let me just say that every character in this film that is a foil for M3GAN or vice versa that is killed is the equivalent of the DMV worker that's slow and lazy. It's just it's just flat out pandering to lower intelligence. And so yes, all right, I'll say I don't blame audiences for liking the film. I don't blame someone who saw the film and said, you know what, I enjoyed that. You know what, good for you. I see why. I thought M3GAN was well done. I really think the child actors was just blah, and also Allison Williams from Get Out. I
mean, she was in. Whoops.
But I blame the script. I don't. What does she have to work with?
Yeah, she was in.
The kid too. The kid wasn't given any range. Fuck. I don't blame those actresses. I'm sorry if it sounded like I was coming down on them.
No.
It's totally the screenwriters. The screenwriters are to blame for this fucking film.
Yeah, Allison Williams was in a TV show called Girls first for a while.
Oh,
It was actually the show was not bad.
Yeah, when we're talking films, I try not to count TVs just because I don't watch it anymore. So and like also like a lot of these actresses, they're in all these TV shows that are like really women oriented that I'm never gonna watch. So like, yeah, great, they're famous actresses. I don't know who it is. and I'm not going to go watch Girls.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so Get Out's my only reference. I'm not belittling her career.
And she was great in that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, she had a better writer.
better director too.
Yeah, I mean, you have
it's
Gemma,
the same guy.
Gemma, I love that fucking name. So yeah, and then you have Gemma's, and they never give her like her full name too. Just call them Gemma. I think you're Gemma. Is it Gemma really? Anyway, Gemma has her two like sidekicks, kind of clueless sidekicks who don't know who fall into the trap, but they don't die because this film's lame ass. It's just like, but they killed the dog. They killed the dog.
Well, it's off screen though.
It is off screen, and I'm wondering if it's off screen in the uncut version.
I bet it is. I bet it is. A lot of people, one of the things that people seem to care about more and more often is kill as many people as you want, kill them as gruesomely as you want, but the second you start killing animals, they're out. It doesn't. The movies it doesn't test well.
We've had this conversation. I've had this complaint since the 80s. They always say they'll kill grandma. They'll put grandma on a lake of acid, but they're not going to kill the fucking dog.
No.
So yeah. So I was surprised that they killed the dog, and I was like, how did critics get past this too? Like, and since we didn't see the dog die, we'll just pretend that didn't happen. Usually people will be up in arms because they killed an animal, but since they did it off screen, everybody ignores it. And because, M3GAN does that dance.
Well, because the thing, too, is the dog is never actually found.
But she tells him it's buried, so we know it's
well, dead. Yes, she says the
death
dog
is
is buried.
confirmed.
It is, but it's not one of those movies where...
You know what? If they had an end sequence after the credits that showed the dog safe, I'd be fine with that. Whatever. That would make more sense to me than just like, okay, we're still going to kill a dog, but we're going to try to get away with it by not showing it. And
right.
I think it's a cheap shot. If you're going to kill a dog, commit to it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, and then when she kills the bad neighbor, who's of course like a frumpy older woman.
The woman that owns the dog.
Yeah. We hate old people. Old, heavy, we don't like, she's not young and thin, so yeah, we don't like her. Yeah, it's how base of a movie this is.
Well, yeah.
But then when M3GAN kills her, I'm sorry, as it's always stated before, nail guns don't shoot nails. I actually bought one recently. I know this for a fact because I was very disappointed. They don't shoot nails, and power washers, which I've used many of them, don't strip the face off you. They don't do it. No,
they don't do that.
Oh, I'm sure there are industrial ones, but none that grandma with the bad dog is going to have, with the hole in the fucking fence.
Yeah, no, it's even if you set it to the maximum PSI,
You're not taking her face off.
No.
Yeah.
No,
and now that we're
no.
talking about physics, let's talk about M3GAN being strong enough to kill people.
No, absolutely not.
And once again, I'm going to use this phrase a couple more times, getting past legal. So there's that part in the film where they reveal M3GAN to all the investors.
Right.
And they all love it because it's the bait and switch where she breaks down, oh, my parents are dead. It's like, oh, she was trying to make a fun game, but now she's depressed. Oh, and then this is the logical world we built around us. The doll comes in, plays psychotherapist with a child with dead parents. A robot, a toy did this of its own free will, and that gets past corporate and legal.
No, yeah, right.
Really?
Right.
The doll's going to give advice to a child with dead parents on how to cope with that? Freely. Now, we didn't program it in there. It's just going to think that up? No, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Well, they did go...
And they're piling on the idea of that commercial at the beginning. So, yeah, we want technology to replace dead people. And it's like, no one does. This is not a popular thing.
But as far as the doll consoling her and playing psychotherapist, one of the things that they do mention a few times is that the AI it's a learning AI.
Right. So, again, learning AI on the run, great. Corporate, I'm selling a product that's going to go out there and give psychotherapeutic advice to a child, unattended, unscripted. fucking no.
No, definitely no.
No, that's all I'm saying. Is that one specific? It's no way this blew people away. They're like, what are you, fucking crazy? We're gonna give, what are we setting up a robotic psychotherapist? Yeah, that's a thing now. What the fuck? No.
Nope, definitely a no.
Yeah, but so you mentioned, and I love this. You brought this up. Nobody knows about this. We don't reveal this to anybody. So yeah, she's like, oh, I want the doll with me. Fine, let's bring the six-figured robotic prototype
that no one should know about.
And not only bring it out in public, leave it on the fucking toy bench.
Mm-hmm.
It makes for a great photo, but it's fucking insane. And and back up. When they pull up and the organizer comes and sees the toy.
Oh, right. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Here's my main point with this whole film. That is the only genuine reaction to M3GAN in that entire movie.
Right.
Nobody sees that, and their first thought in real life is, wow. They're like, what the fuck? Seriously.
They're all like, oh, my God. What about her over there? Oh, that's a doll. Seriously?
That first time where they accidentally plug M3GAN into the mainframe without like turning her off, and she starts learning about death. I was like, okay, kill it. The robot knows what death is. Kill the robot. We know this. This is science 101. Kill the robot when it understands death.
Right. Exactly.
Especially if it's fucking AI. So I mean, that's why the film it's. So again, you can enjoy the film, but if you're going to review it critically as a movie, you can't just blow all this bullshit off and say, but it was entertaining. Yeah, that's called fucking public opinion. Stuff it up your ass. Tell me how the film is.
Right. Oh, there's that guy. He's getting hung. The face that he makes, I'm so happy you caught that. I thought it was a prosthetic.
That robot that is strong enough to string a human up. Oh, yeah, we're going to sell this to children. And the robot is, and again, this robot's autonomous and it'll do things on its own, right? And it could probably crush a baby's hand. Oh, it could, I mean, it can't, it could rip a machete off of a paper cutter and kill someone with it, but I wouldn't say it could crush a baby's hand. I have a still shot of that in our slideshow. She doesn't rip, like, it's been done before and it's been done good. I mean, my favorite, of course, would be that shot that was in the trailer for The Faculty.
Oh, sure.
When the one kid rips the paper shredder off and attacks Jon Stewart.
Yes, the
paper cutter.
The paper cutter, the blade.
He rips it and the screws come off and everything goes fine. And I've seen other versions throughout film. It's not an original idea, but nowhere are they 3-foot machetes curved with no hook, no hole or anything anywhere for it to actually attach to the paper cutter.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I mean, and that's like the icing on the cake though, because that whole dance thing is like, all right, I get it, it's cute, but it doesn't make any fucking sense.
It makes no sense.
No.
It's supposed to, I feel that it's intended to be creepily erotic in some way, and I don't get it. I don't.
No.
Not saying for me.
No.
Or for you.
We're just going to pretend we didn't say that.
I'm not saying it for. Listen, there are some creepy people out there that are like, oh yeah.
Stop talking about it.
You do the little dance.
No.
You got a machete, don't you? It's like, come on, stop it with this shit.
And if they had this kind of technology to put in a fucking like toy company's budget, yeah, there ought to be real dolls out there, like at least not AI, but at least which I don't think they have. I'm just gonna stop right there because I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't know where are you going with that. I mean, I could actually pile onto that because there was a radio show that I listened to recently that there's a. I'm not going to go into it because it's gross.
Never mind. I would draw the comment. You started it, and I'm finishing it.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, here's the problem though. When we jump back and forth, we kind of like lose track of. I'm always afraid I'm lose track of something. But I mean, yeah, the realistic response to her by that counselor was like, everybody should be reacting this way to a sentient doll. I'm sorry. I don't care. No, this is not the real world. That's why the face looks like that. They're going for that whole quote unquote uncanny valley thing.
Right.
So it's almost human, but not quite. Because we know with technology, like with they could actually make her look realistic if they wanted to, but they purposely went for that, and I get that. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I wouldn't say it's a frustrating movie to watch, but.
No, not at all, because I know where everything is happening. I was very relaxed through the whole thing. There's no suspense here. Again, psychiatrist doesn't die. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? But or not, or therapist or psych.
Frustrating in the sense that, like, I'm correcting things as I'm like, they could have did this, they could have did that. This scene should have been. I mean, we've been talking about it the whole time. It's like all of these things could have been better had they done them differently. But
I know they weren't going for originality, and I think that's the point. I think that's what a lot of critics are just like shrugging, going, "Well, that's Hollywood, so why am I going to fight TikTok viewers?" But it's just so disingenuous. This is not a good film. If you remove critical aspects, it's an entertaining film. But if you have a fucking brain in your head, you're going to be pointing out this shit to anybody, and it's just your typical 80s horror film. It's weird. They accidentally made an homage to 80s horror films. It's formulaic, it's mockable, and it's more fun to talk about than like watch silently.
Sure. I mean, it's getting a lot of Deadly Friend vibes the whole time.
Dude, that's fucking psychic that you said that, and I'll tell you after we're done reviewing this.
Okay.
I won't forget. But again, I understand why audience like the film, but critics should not be letting this shit pass. I mean, there's not an original aspect to this film. Chucky is a 30-year fucking franchise. Yeah. And no one's ever really been able to beat Chucky.
It's actually even a little older than that, but yeah.
Yeah, and even beyond that, you've got the Puppet Master series. That's going on roughly as long as I've been watching horror films. There's been a Chucky as a kid. I watched Child's Play as a kid. I watched Master of or Puppet Master.
Puppet Master, yeah.
Not Master of Puppets.
They came out around the same time. Puppet Master,
roughly.
I think, 87. Chucky,
since
88.
My early adolescence, those franchises have constantly come out, and they're about killer puppets. Killer Puppets is not new. Killer Dolls is not new. There have been in other stuff before. M3GAN knew this, but they hinged on this like, we're going to take it back, and we're going to, it's pretty much a great marketing thing. It's great marketing. They did all the marketing right. They got a product that looks good. It was fun. It did funny things. It's just, this movie is the fucking toy they're trying to sell you in the beginning.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
That's the review this film should have got from every critic. This film is the movie. This movie is the toy they're trying to sell you in a thing. There's nothing to it.
Which, by the way, the toy in the beginning was given to the little girl by the aunt as well.
Right, which the Karen mother had to bitch about. It's like, can't you make her smile once before she dies? There was no reason for that opening to be like that.
Yeah, right.
There was no reason to kill those two innocent people on either side of me right now. They should be alive today bitching about iPads. M3GAN was cute. M3GAN did stuff, but there's not an original aspect of the film. There's nothing interesting about the film. There's nothing new about the film, and so you can like it, but it's really not a good movie.
No, it's definitely not.
And this is why I hope I didn't forget anything, because I feel like I was holding off on some things that I didn't want to block it up. But so as far as me saying 4. That's my feeling, because it's not even just an average film, it's an intentionally average film, especially since they even pulled back and said, oh shit, kids want it, let's just put, and by the way, this is why it's a 4. I hate when filmmakers lie to me. I spelled bastard differently in Glorious Bastards because it's an artistic flourish. I can't explain why. Bullshit, you did it so you didn't fuck newspaper advertising. We're not morons. I hate when they do that shit. And so this film, I remember I read somewhere where they explained how, as they were editing the film, they realized, if we took out some of the violence, this actually works better on a tension film, like kind of Hitchcock kind of stuff. Is that you're fucking lying. TikTok blew up, and so you said, oh my God, we need to get the kids in there, and you cut the shit out of the film. Fuck you. Don't lie. I hate that. 4 stars just for fucking lying. and just being blatant. It's a commercial, 100% commercial film. There is no soul in this film. Again, this film is the product they were selling at the beginning. Not even M3GAN. This is that shitty little Furby ripoff.
Yeah, right.
M3GAN
right.
is the shitty. That's my review.
4, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't
won't fight you on it, but
no.
my
I mean, I was gonna suggest a 5, but
if you want, I'll meet you at 5, but it deserves a 4 because it's a shitty film. They got way more credit than it got because it's got some.
Well, that I agree with, but I just 4 is a special kind of. I mean, I don't know.
I'm bitter.
I know you're bitter. I just think this is better than a 4.
And that's why I'm not being unreasonable and fighting it. I'll say okay to a 5, and I'll be honest. I'm not gonna lie to you. I already rated it
A 4.
a 5.
Oh, 5. Okay.
I rated it last week accidentally. And
Really?
Well, if we choose something different, I'll change it. But
Well, it's a good thing I came in with a 5. That's why I was like, that's why in the beginning I was like, I can't go higher than a 6. Like, if you came in saying, you know what, it's enjoyable, it was, it did this well, I'd be like,
again, those are excuses.
No, I know, but if you came in that way, you know how we compromise a lot of the times. I'd be like, all right, I can go a 6 because maybe you're right on some of those things, but I'm like, I really just want to give it a 5 because it's just a mediocre, average movie.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that
it's 100% mediocre. It's a shiny mediocre film.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'll give it that. And I'm glad they greenlit 2 sequels because unless they get good writers, they're gonna fucking bomb.
Well, then the thing is, I don't think it's gonna matter. At least for the second one. The second one's gonna do money no matter how poorly it tests.
Well, and here's the difference too. Now they're going to aim it at PG-13, so now it's not going to be a hatchet job at the last minute and repackage it. They're going to go into it thinking, okay, they're going to go into it. It's a marketing film. They're going to go, okay, well, how can we market this? How far can we get with it? What are the hooks? What are going to be our TikTok things? This is 100% Hollywood. This is what people say they hate about Hollywood.
Yeah.
Right here. This is just 100% manufactured product. There's no real heart or soul to it.
And I'm wondering when, because it was obviously released in January because, well, whatever reason it was released in January. Usually a movie gets released in January when it tests very poorly. And, if it tests super poorly, they release it in January. That's always what happens.
Yeah.
And it might have tested poorly, but like you said, after the dance blew up on TikTok and the trailer somehow also other aspects blew up on TikTok. It didn't matter how it tested.
Horror film. It's a horror film. Horror films are a gamble.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if the sequel is they're gonna try and release that as like a summer movie. Like a June or July release.
Yeah, again, this is marketing, and this is the soulless part of it. I can't wrap my head around it, so I don't know.
I would not be one bit surprised if the sequel comes out in June or July.
Yeah, just because they greenlit 2 sequels don't mean they're going to happen. I mean, I'm saying projects fall through.
It's happening. This movie was successful financially.
This is, and there's so much evil in the world. That's all I'm saying. I don't think I have anything more to add to this.
Same.
I'm not like I wasn't angry when I finished watching the film, but when I had to sit to review it and be critical about it, it's more and more insulting as you go down the list of all the cliche stupid shit that these critics just overlook. That but it's a popcorn movie. No, you're an asshole. You're not a true critic.
Yeah,
I can't get further into it. I rated it as 5. So what we're going to do is we're wrapping up this episode now, but for our YouTube audience that we've actually been trying to get more engaged with. Thank you for watching, and if you watched this far, I hope you enjoyed our commentary on this. So if you want to you want to listen to us banter about other stuff we watch and stuff as we kind of catch up because we don't talk to each other that much these days, you can catch that extra content on our podcast. It's not a Patreon bullshit. You don't have to subscribe. Just find our podcast and listen to the audio version, and there'll be probably 15 or 20 minutes after this if you like listening to us talk. But if not, we're going to wrap up the YouTube video now and say thank you for watching.
Yeah, thank you.